How is it going, everyone? It's Caleb Lumity here, and today we are going to be talking about the worst visual novel I have ever read. Now, I actually didn't expect this visual novel to be that bad, if I'm being completely honest. I've been wanting to play this for a while, and it finally dropped in price on the Nintendo Switch for $7. And I'm going to be completely honest when I say that's about $7 too much. This game is awful. This is actually the worst written visual novel I have ever seen in my entire life. The important thing about visual novels is always the story, because that's all there is. There's no gameplay in visual novels. Everything relies on the story. You're basically reading a book. So, just like a book, if the writing sucks, then the actual, it's not worth having. Well, in this visual novel, the writing sucks, so this game ain't worth playing. And there's many times in this game where I almost just stopped playing, but I was just like, I gotta finish it. I've already gotten this far into it. I gotta finish it and do it for the channel and talk about it at least, because I've already put so many hours into this. I can't stop now. But this game is very, very poorly written. It has so many plot holes. It has so many areas of just absolutely ridiculous writing where, the suspension of disbelief only lasts for so long. And this game just destroys it time and time again, I get wanting to have a crazy story and a crazy concept, but they went just way out of the realm of possibility. They went too far. They got too wacky with it, and it just became ridiculous. This game is Corpse Factory. It's we're going to talk about spoilers in this video as well, by the way. So just want to throw that out there. I'll try to talk about just the plot first before I get into the spoilers, and I'll give you a warning when I talk about the spoilers. But Corpse Factory is basically about a website where people can request deaths about any single person, and basically they will send a picture of the person they want, the phone number, and that person who they requested the death of will receive a picture of their own corpse before they die, and they may die or they actually may not die. It just kind of depends on the situation. Now, that's the whole point of this game. It's kind of like I don't even really want to call it a mystery. It's kind of more of seeing how this website works and everyone's fascination with it, and playing as some characters who are also involved with this, organization, and just basically trying to figure out what's going on. And it really just, it's not well written. I keep going back to that, I know, but it's just not. The dialogue is really bad in it. Like, when the characters communicate with each other, it just doesn't feel real or natural at all. Like, there's these two characters, and this girl named Tomoe is constantly talking with this girl named Noriko. And the conversations they have, they're just not natural whatsoever. They do not feel like actual conversations that real human beings would have. And there's so many issues like that in this game. And at first I thought maybe the voice acting was bad. I was just like, because the voice acting isn't great, to be honest with you. But the more I played this game, I was just like, you know what? I actually feel bad for the voice actors, because they were given a really shitty script to work with. So I can't really blame the voice acting too much, because honestly, if someone gave me a script this bad, I'd probably phone it in too. So there's that. The actual story, it's just, you're interested in the kind of Corpse Girl website at first, but then it just gets absolutely insane once you start seeing the different things they start doing. Like, at one point they finally start delivering corpses to people's doors to, like, scare them and make them die or whatever, because they see the corpse and they panic and then they kill themselves or whatever. But the problem is that it's just so unbelievable that they're delivering hundreds of corpses, and they literally say they have hundreds of victims at one point. They're delivering hundreds of corpses to places all across Japan, and there's no footage of it anywhere? No one's got any footage, no evidence of it? Like, this is a game placed in modern time, and there's literally no footage of anyone delivering these bodies. There's no forensics, there's no, DNA left behind, because they're literally touching the corpse, they're dressing the corpse up, they're putting makeup on it. There's literally no forensic evidence. You can't find any fingerprints on anything? Really? There's a body bag, they're literally putting them in and leaving the body in? It's so frustrating how they just destroy the suspension of disbelief. They absolutely destroy it. There's no way to believe this game. It's just too far out there. And I'm okay with some wacky stories, but I can only have that suspension of disbelief for so long. I can only have it for so long. And once it just hit the, everything hit the fan, and there was just, like, bodies everywhere. There's all of a sudden, at the very end, they finally introduced something kind of paranormal, but it sucks. It's really poor writing there, too. It takes 7 hours of this game, probably more than that, probably about 8 or 9 hours, to actually introduce the supernatural element. And once it's finally there, I didn't care anymore. And they still kind of left it open to where it may not be supernatural anyway. So it's just like, okay, so you want me to believe that humans were possible, this was a possibility for all humans to do. This was all humans that did this. It was all possible for them to do this crazy operation. I'm just supposed to be like, oh yeah, this makes sense. Like, I can't. And the writing is so edgy and unbelievably stupid. The characters make really dumb decisions that, decisions that don't even make sense for their character. At one point, okay, we're going to start talking about spoilers. Right here, spoilers. You're playing as the villain. You're playing as Noriko. Noriko is Corpse Girl, basically. She's Corpse Girl, but there's another corpse behind the scene that's actually Corpse Girl. And it's really stupid, because the actual Corpse Girl is just like some body that's buried in an apartment somewhere. And I guess Noriko saw her once and became nuts after she saw her. But you're playing as Noriko, and you have this guy who's going and getting bodies for you to basically dress them up, so you can deliver them to make the victims kill themselves or whatever. And at one point, she's talking to this dude over the phone, Kojiro, I think is his name, and she's just like, hey, do you have any bodies? And they just got robbed. All the bodies are gone, by the way. Just hundreds of bodies just went missing overnight, and then no police investigation there either, by the way. That's just part of the story. And then he's just like, well, we don't have many bodies. So Nokuro's just like, okay, well, do you have anything? And he's just like, well, we have one that's missing your arm. And then she's just like, okay, well, that won't work. Just cut your arm off or something and put it there. And he does it. He just cuts his own arm off and puts it there. And it's just like, hang on a minute. Like, because he has this one body that matches the person's, profile close enough to scare them into killing themselves or whatever. But even though he has this one that's close enough of a match, there's still other bodies there. I think he said that there's like 4 or 5 bodies there total. Why didn't he just take the arm of one of the other bodies and put it there? Why did he chop off his own arm? Just because Noriko said to? That's why he did it? Why? It felt like they were just looking for an excuse to show gore or be gory and edgy and stuff. And just like, this is stupid. This is really bad writing. So there's that. I knew from the very beginning who the main villain was, and I'm not talking about Noriko, and yes, Noriko's a bad character, but every single character in this game is bad, by the way. There's not a single good character. Every character is a villain, and I've said before that I'm okay with that if you do it well enough and tie it into the story well enough, but this story's just so unbelievably bad anyway, it just doesn't work. So, there's another group that's going around killing people, and trying to basically take fame away from Corpse Girl or whatever. And I knew who it was immediately. I was just like, oh, it's Aoi, or I don't know how you say her name. It's Noriko's best friend. I said it at the very beginning. I was just like, oh, she's requesting Noriko's death at one point. I'm just like, this has got to be Aoi who's doing this. Who else would want Noriko dead? It's got to be Aoi. So I was just like, it's her. There's no one else. It's her. And I'm playing through 9 hours of this game, and I finally get to the point where they say that it's Aoi. I was right, of course, because it was super obvious. They made it very obvious who it was. They made it obvious that she was the one going around and killing people and trying to steal fame away from Corpse Girl or whatever. And they reveal it in one of the most just unsatisfying ways possible. She literally reveals it over a phone call. That's how they decided to reveal that she's this like evil killer that's battling Corpse Girl. She literally just reveals it to Noriko, the actual Corpse Girl. She literally just reveals it over the phone like it's nothing. Like, oh hey, yeah, I remember. I want you dead. Yeah, I'm the one that's trying to steal all the fame from Corpse Girl. And then she hangs up. It's just like, what? Like, this is how your big reveal goes? And it was so stupid because they literally had the perfect moment where they could have revealed it. They literally had this guy who they wanted dead, who was working with Aoi. They wanted him dead. Corpse Girl wanted him dead. Noriko wanted him dead. And they go and they set him up to die using basically Aoi to do it. And when they get there, they arrive at the scene where the guy is on the ground dead, and Aoi is above him wearing a mask, and you don't know it's Aoi yet. And instead of revealing it there, She just runs away. Just like, what? First of all, why would you let her run away? This is the person you've been after this entire time. You've been after this person because they're stealing, like, all of the fame from Corpse Girl or whatever. Why did you just let her run away? What is this storytelling? This is like plot convenience, the plot armor. It's so bad. Like, it's just, the writing is ridiculous. There's way too many things that happen, and you're just like, why would you do that? Why would you just let that person go away? You know, why would this person just randomly die? Why would this, you know, there's too many whys and not enough good answers. That's the best way I can describe this game. And the ending also sucked. I hate all of the endings. There's 3 different endings, and each ending is terrible. There you go. So at the end of the day, this is the worst visual novel I have ever played. And to be honest with you, I had a feeling that it probably wasn't going to be great, because it's a Western visual novel, and I try to avoid Western visual novels, if I'm being honest, because I know that most things written past 2020 that are Western stories usually suck. The majority of them do. So I really was not expecting anything, like, I shouldn't have been expecting anything good from this. But, you know, I thought maybe I'd be wrong and maybe it would be good, and unfortunately, no, this is a bad story. This is bad writing. This is a bad game overall. And everything about it is bad. It's like literally a 13-year-old Tumblr, you know, user who's the super edgy wrote a story. That's basically what this game is. It's horrible. And it just sucks. I wish it was good. I honestly do. And one other side thing that I do want to say is that it has this anime style or whatever, and I hate it when the Western media in general, any Western media, I don't care if it's TV shows, I don't care if it's comic book writers, I don't care if it's video games like this, I hate it when Western media uses anime and tries to, like, pass it off as, you know, this kind of Japanese thing or whatever, because, like, first of all, your writing's nothing like this Japanese writing. Your storytelling isn't as good as all of the Japanese visual novels I've read. Or even anime that, you know, whenever you see Western anime, the story always sucks compared to the Japanese anime. And overall, you're just using that art style to get views. You're just using it to try to kind of latch on to people who like anime. And it's so stupid to me. I hate it, and I hate seeing Westerners use the anime art style for that reason. And that's just a pet peeve of mine that I want to throw out there, because this game does the same thing. Yes, the art looks nice for what it is. But at the same time, it's just, I wish that Westerners would just write their own stories in their own countries. I really, really do, because they are terrible when it comes to writing stories in other countries. At least from what I've read so far, okay? From what I've seen. Like, this story comes across super, like, it comes across like it's written by a weeb. Because the person who wrote this, they don't really know much about Japan, and it's pretty obvious. Like, at one point, they're, like, tipping waitresses and stuff, and just, like, immediately just, this is just, like, one example that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm just like, why would they tip a waitress? You don't tip in Japan. Japan doesn't have a tipping culture. And I saw that, and I was just like, okay, yeah, whatever. And it's just stuff like that. It's just like, what in the world? But it just comes across very weeb-like, the story. It feels like someone that wanted to write a Japanese story, but really didn't know how to, and they pretty much just watched like a bunch of anime or something. It was just like, I can do this, and then they made this video game. That's kind of what it feels like. But yeah, overall, I don't like this game. It sucks. This is the worst video game I've ever played. I'm not even joking when I say that. I actually legitimately believe this is the worst story in any video game I've ever seen. I would actually rather play Bubsy 3D than ever play this piece of shit again. So there we go. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry, this video was a little bit more negative than usual. I'm usually not this negative when it comes to video games, but this one was just bad. This was just a really bad video game. But yeah, I'll talk to you next time. You have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.